first of 7 suspects accused of killing Preston Lord. It was a group assault, 2023. The first of 7 sentenced today. William Owen Hines, 19 years old. He has been sentenced to a total of 17 years in prison. He kicked Preston when he was down at least a couple of times. So who knows if that was the kick that ended or led to Preston's life slipping away.
Fair.
I'll say this. He could have gotten 21 years. I think he should have gotten the maximum. So am I disappointed in 17? I don't know. I think he should have gotten 21.
Okay.
Because
that was the absolute max he could face.
Yeah. William Owen Hines is going to go to jail for 17 years.
Yes. And he did plead. He pled guilty, to be clear, and this was the sentence.
He's a thug. Yeah. Okay.
He's got a rap sheet.
Shoplifting, aggravated assault. He hit a guy with his car.
Literally.
He ran over a dude.
He got 5 years for that.
Right. The guy who he hit survived, but
thankfully.
Serious injuries. He's got a 4-month gap in his memory, and that's from William Owen Hines. Right. So 17 years in prison. But guess what? Hines gets to live. Preston Lord doesn't, okay? And if you're part of something that takes somebody's life, I'm sticking you in jail for the maximum. So is 17 enough? Probably not for me.
Close, right?
Yeah,
and let's bring Balin Overstolz.
Let's find out some more about this.
We got KTAR reporter who's actually down there at the courthouse, was in the courtroom and watched this. Can you help clarify something for me? When we hear 17 years was the maximum sentence, was that the maximum sentence for the manslaughter charge?
So that's with everything put together.
That was the total max. Okay, because I didn't understand if it was 17, he only got 12 for manslaughter, 5 for the vehicular issue.
Yeah, in fact, when because the judge announced the sentences separately for each charge, the first thing he said was 5 years, and there were gasps in the courtroom because people had thought he had received 5 years for everything.
Okay.
So yes, 5 years comes from that.
Oh my God, I can't
assault.
imagine the courtroom if it goes 5 years. People, Yeah.
No, there were audible gasps. We heard a lot today from obviously state prosecutors, defense, and we heard victim statements. And Hines himself did speak before receiving the sentence as well.
Okay, tell us what he said.
So a lot of what today was focused on was if he is remorseful. The prosecutors were arguing he is not, whereas defense arguing he is, and there was different evidence brought for both sides. So when he actually spoke, he definitely, tried to express remorse. He told the Lord family he is sorry. He said he cannot ask for forgiveness, but that was really the focal point of his statement at the end, but was really just trying to hit on the fact that he is sorry.
Okay, but what about the phone calls that were recorded he made in prison? And he wasn't remorseful. There were calls where he wasn't remorseful, so that tells me he's not remorseful.
And did they play those phone calls in the courtroom?
So the prosecutors didn't play theirs, but they referenced them. However, the defense also played other phone calls that were not included, I think, in those 7 that were discussed before, where he talked about how he can't sleep at night because he feels sorry. He also just sort of talked about how it's a little hard to explain, but he was almost looking back on all those past incidents he's been involved in and seeming to express confusion and remorse for ending up where he is now as well. That was the defense's calls.
You know what I mean? Everybody remorseful when they get caught and thrown in jail. I mean,
those were calls from jail. Yeah.
I mean,
right? Does he feel bad about that he killed Preston Lord? He was part of killing Preston Lord, or that he got caught and that he's going to jail for 17 years? I don't know.
That is one of the core questions. It's really something that both sides focused on today. That and there was a lot of discussion on mitigation and aggravating factors.
Okay.
Part of what the defense argued was that there is some evidence to say that Hines expressed to the group of people attacking Preston Lord that maybe they should stop. It was unclear, but they also argued that he didn't actually hit him in the head, but the stomach. And those were sort of seen as mitigating factors to reduce the sentence in the eyes of what the court was arguing.
I love it. You kick a guy in the stomach and then in the legs, and then you tell everybody, well, maybe he's had enough. Really?
Well, and so if I understand correctly, I mean, not only he pled guilty. This wasn't it wasn't me or I didn't do it. He pled guilty, and he's now been sentenced to 17 years cumulatively. Some of the others are facing much more time because they are seen as more of the aggressors in this?
And also part of his plea deal, when he did do the guilty plea, the kidnapping charge was dropped on that. And a reminder, in Arizona, kidnapping charges can come from simply surrounding a person. Or more specifically, making them unable to move. So while they didn't drag Preston Lord or take him anywhere, the fact that they had surrounded him also led to a kidnapping charge in the original charges.
That's really interesting. Like, if you surround somebody, and all these thugs were surrounding
you
Preston
restrict
Lord,
their movement.
That's kidnapping. Because you're not allowing that person to leave.
Yeah.
Balin Overstolz is with us right now, KTAR reporter, who was there at the sentencing today of William Owen Hines. Again, 17 years, 12 of those years specifically for the death of Preston Lord, for pleading guilty to manslaughter. Was there any talk of him cooperating with prosecutors against any of the other defendants?
Nothing specifically on giving information about other defendants. The judge did talk about shortly before giving the sentencing that when that plea arrangement first came up and there was a private meeting with that Hines was very willing to do it, is what the judge mentioned. But as far as the other defendants, the 6 others, no.
Okay.
Hey, Balin, did the Lord family speak after the 17-year verdict?
Yes, we did hear from the Lord family. Actually, during the sentencing hearing as well, there were many victim impact statements, which were very, very,
right,
very
who spoke inside the courtroom?
Emotional. Yeah, and
from the Lord family, they spoke from inside the courtroom?
They spoke during the sentencing hearing, and then afterward, they did speak with all the reporters who were down there, and they said the 17-year sentence, specifically Preston Lord's father, Nick Lord, he said it's a step in the right direction. You know, during the sentencing hearing, he did say he wants the maximum sentence. That's what he told the judge. But with the 17 years, speaking to the media after, he said it's a step in the right direction.
Okay. Well, and I mean, and again, I can't imagine, honestly, that for them, I mean, they're going to go through this.
They got 6 more. 6 more trials, 6 more people.
And they're all going to be tried individually.
Yeah.
They all have their own attorneys. They all have their own defense, whatever it might be.
The agony that they're still in.
You got to relive that. I mean, that's tough.
Every day,
and you got, I'm going to guess, they feel like they got to be there to represent Preston.
Yeah.
You got to be there.
You get no, I don't know if they'll ever have closure. Maybe if all of these thugs get put away, they can have some type of life left, but I mean their baby boy is gone.
Yeah.
It's worth noting too, the Gilbert community was out there with the family since the beginning of this. There's been the color orange as the theme, and then the hashtag for Justice for Preston Lord movement. That was still in full swing. The courtroom was pretty much full too, with people besides the family wearing those shirts and just trying to show support as well.
I saw maybe some people with signs outside and things like that.
And even before, there was still those signs, the orange ribbons, the things the communities have been doing to try to draw attention to it.
Balin, did William Owen Hines, who's now been sentenced 17 years, did his parents speak at court?
We did hear from his parents.
All right, what did they say?
They talked about how their child is a gift to them, like any parent would say. They talked about how he lost his grandfather, I believe, a year before the Lord attack, which they said jeopardized his mental status. There was talk also separately from that of his consistent alcohol abuse from, I believe, the age of 15, definitely a younger age before the Preston Lord attack. That was also discussed a lot, as sort of framing where his mental status was coming into that. But as far as his family, it's what you'd expect. They don't want to see their son behind bars.
Sure. Balin, I got a final question for you. You heard William Owen Hines speak in this, and I'll take your vibe on it. Did it come across as remorseful? Did it come across as scripted? Did you believe he was remorseful?
That's a tough question. When he spoke, everybody's reading from a piece of paper. There's a lot of process here. So it can be hard to get to the emotional core of what people are saying. He did point out that he can't ask for forgiveness, which, I mean, I thought that just stuck out to me. It in a way showing I messed up and I'm not going to try to ask for anything. I'm not going to try to say, oh, I don't deserve this. But actual remorse, I mean, it's really hard to say. There was that phone call his defense played calling his mom where he did specifically express remorse, but it's hard to know how true that is when it's coming from a jail cell, I don't know. I don't think I could accurately say.
Okay, fair.
But
it's hard to read. It's hard to read into somebody and wonder if that's how they really feel.
But that's what a judge has to do,
right?
Say this, I mean, that's literally.
The Lord family, they're Christians. I think that that there is a possibility that if he did ask for forgiveness, they might forgive him. I don't want to put words in their mouth.
No. Yeah.
But we are told as Christians that we are supposed to forgive. Now, this is the worst thing that could ever happen. Your kid was killed. I don't know what they would do, but I would say if Hines was to say, I'm sorry, and I'm asking you for my forgiveness, don't put it past the Lord family to say, we forgive you.
Yeah. And he did say, it's worth saying, he said, quote, I am very truly sorry. Quote, I owe them everything. Just, again, not asking for forgiveness was something that stuck out to me.
Okay.
Balin, appreciate your time, and thanks for being down there covering that story.
Thanks for watching Outspoken with Bruce and Gaydos. Tap to watch more from KTAR News and click the button in the middle to subscribe.